Hello and welcome to Jordan Recommends. In the 1980s, there were very few franchises that endured quite like Ghostbusters. And when something becomes popular, there's a very good chance that it could get an animated series. And that's exactly what happened when it came to Ghostbusters. In 1986, the real Ghostbusters debuted, a show that was funny, scary, and exciting all in one, and did things and went places that very few shows at that time period would have even attempted. And not many shows now would even do either. The show lasted for 140 episodes, coming to an end in 1991, which for a cartoon show, that's quite a long time. And you have your main cast of characters with Peter, who was originally voiced by Lorenzo Music, but then was replaced by Dave Coulier, who was very laid back and generally has a snarky, sarcastic comment for any situation they tend to find themselves in. Ray, who is voiced by Frank Welker, he is the mechanic of the team, as well as also having a childlike wonder, and is the second smartest of the team. Egon, who is voiced by Maurice LaMarche, he is the smartest of the group, and is usually the one who discovers what they are going up against and finds the way of how they can defeat it. And then Winston, who is voiced by Arsenio Hall, but then was replaced by Buster Jones later on. He is the everyman, so he is the most grounded of the group. And then there's Slimer, pet sidekick. And then, of course, you have Janine, who is the secretary, who was first voiced by Laura Summer, but then was later on replaced by Kath Soucie. When Janine was voiced by Laura Summer, she was very sassy and snarky, and didn't put up with any nonsense from either Slimer or the other Ghostbusters. And she even got to save the day a few times. The Kath Soucie Janine was more quiet and reserved, and more of a mother figure for the boys. The show has a pretty basic formula. The show is a monster of the week show. A ghost or some sort of monster will get loose, and then it'll up to the Ghostbusters to track it down and either catch it or send it back to wherever it came from. Even though it was a kids show, it could get pretty intense sometimes, and there's some pretty crazy imagery. And that's also why a lot of people still watch it and love it to this day. And there are a number of people who wrote for the show, like Pat Ali, Dwayne Capizzi, and Michael Edens, who go on to have successful careers in animation. But the person who a lot of people would say, at least the early seasons, owed its success to was J. Michael Straczynski, who was a writer and also the show's story editor. So after he quit the show due to executive meddling, the quality of writing plummeted, and along with the show's ratings, which then kind of forced the network to appease Straczynski getting to come back. But by then, the damage had already been done to the show's ratings and also its reputation. If you need something to get your Ghostbusters fix, the real Ghostbusters is a good place to go. Or at least the first 13 episodes that aired on ABC and the 60 episodes that were released for syndication. And if you want an in-depth history of the real Ghostbusters, Faylis Porteous is a good place to start, since he's a really big real Ghostbusters fan. And he's done multiple videos about the history of the real Ghostbusters. The show is available on DVD. The Real Ghostbusters was a solid entry into the Ghostbusters franchise. So, I ain't afraid no ghosts. Till next time, see ya.